Kia ora te whānau, back again, interviewing Tupuria King, and he was my first guest on this Paddler People's podcast back when I started in Hawaii, and kind of the reason why I started was to interview all these paddlers and amazing people in this paddling community. So if you do like it, give it a share, give it a like, and get the knowledge out there. I'm really excited to interview Tipu because he's got so much knowledge and he's at the top of his game, and also a business owner and started his new brand, Train Like the King. So it's going to be a good little insight into what he's been doing over the last few months, and also around training and all different aspects. So let's get it started. How's up north? Looks
Brilliant.
pretty good spot to be, eh?
Yeah, pretty mean. I imagine it's a lot better than Auckland. Being stuck in the city, get out into the wilderness.
A few rivers and been running through the bush and shit.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Running up to the waterfall and heaps of been all good. A few 10Ks, did one half marathon.
Yeah. How did that go? Is it good to have Tyler there to train with?
Yeah, definitely good to have Tyler here training, although I must say the training has decreased a little bit over the since level 3, but maybe that's because I'm getting on the water a bit more.
Oh, yeah. How's your diet's been going, bro? I've seen you're doing the keto diet. Pretty challenging?
Yeah, been through a bit of my ups and downs now. So I managed to do fasting for level 4 lockdown.
Yeah.
So that was a decent 4 to 5 weeks. That was mean, and that was good. But obviously my training was decreased, so it was good for that. But then as soon as we popped back into level 3 and I started paddling again, I was like, man, I need some breakfast. So
did you lose a bit of weight doing it, or?
I think I did have 1 week where I just went full, like try to do full carnivore while I was doing the fasting.
Yeah.
So I was cutting like most carbohydrates and stuff, and I did get down to like 90 kg on the spot.
Yeah.
But I was feeling pretty weak and tired in the gym and stuff. So that was that. But yeah, I feel it's a weird feeling, like, because most competitions I like to try and get down to there, like 90, 91. But like knowing there's no competitions around, it's like you get down there and it's like, now what do I do?
I tried doing the fasting in Tahiti last year, but then when I had to go back and like I'd go to the gym in the morning, and then when I had to go back to work in the restaurant, sometimes I wouldn't get lunch till like 2:00, bro, and I was like,
starving.
Yeah, bro, I was like nearly fainting. I can't do this.
Bro, like, it's all good because during the lockdown, because we're like sleeping in and sometimes sleeping till like 9:30, 10, and it's like, only 2 hours left to lunchtime.
Yeah.
But
so what's the plan for level 2? You're going to head back to Auckland?
I think we'll head back to Auckland. Might come down to the mountain, spend a bit of time down there, get some training in.
Yeah.
Because no races for me for a while, and no competitions for Tyler until potentially November.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of
a weird time, eh?
Bit of a weird time.
And so before all this, you had a bit of a different plan, eh? Like you were thinking about racing some different races. You want to kind of talk about what the plan was this year?
Yeah. So this year, which the main race that I was probably training for, which would have been last weekend, was the Molokai Solo in Hawaii. So OC1 race. So I was set up quite well in Auckland, staying with my business partner Irene, and had me an OC1 down there, and I was training predominantly OC1, just going hard so I could try and go over there and give that one a good go.
Yeah.
Molokai was Molokai solo. After the Molokai solo, we were looking to go to, I think we were looking to go to Paris first. We were going to go to Paris because there's a race on the Thames River, and we were going to go over and do a bunch of coaching clinics at the Thames. And Tyler actually had a sevens tournament in Paris during that time too, so I was going to go and watch that one.
Yeah, amazing.
Obviously, things are crazy. After that, instead of the TI tour, which is in July, the same weekend they have the Gorge Downwind Champs, which is in Portland, Oregon, and that one looks wicked. I've seen heaps of videos that are just pure fun downwinds, like people riding waves, just not even paddling, waving their paddles in. And so that was definitely on the card. So it was most likely that I wasn't going to do TI Tour this year, although I probably would still do the Super I Tour, which is you don't actually need to qualify if you're an international. And then I think those would have been my main races before jumping into the 6-man season and potentially going back over and joining back up with Kalahukai in Hawaii for the Molokai Hui, and ultimately Hawaii Nui, I think.
Yeah.
So there's a potential that Hawaii Nui and potentially even Molokai might still be on 6-man. So I guess that's maybe one thing to potentially look forward to if the airports open up by then.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I was talking to Mario, and he was just saying that Molokai could still potentially be on. So it'll be pushing out. But
airline, so I wonder. Yeah, I haven't really looked into it much about airports opening when, but
only time
crazy.
will tell. Yeah.
And
were you thinking about going to South America as well, or was that a little bit long in the future plans?
Yeah, for sure. So we definitely get heaps of interest from South America, Brazil, and so potentially if I did go to Brazil for clinics, it would be in December.
Yeah.
Because they have their TI tour in December.
Oh yeah.
So that's a potential thing there. The only thing is it's just from experience and hearing things, like it's quite difficult to go over and make ends meet because the economy is not very strong and things like that. But Brazil is a beautiful place. I'd love to just go back and experience it, or not even just Brazil, maybe another country, Argentina, Chile, Panama. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, do a few coaching clinics and do a bit of traveling.
Yeah, hard out.
So a little bit about your TK business side. So last time we talked on this, you're the first person of my first interview back at my house in Hawaii.
It's finished now.
Yeah, hasn't sold, but tell me a little bit, or tell everyone a little bit about kind of the expansion and the growth, and kind of your future aspirations for TK for the business, and kind of how much of a role Irene has, because I see all these ideas. I'm like, man, that's pretty smart from Tipu. But then I'm thinking, I wonder if Irene's got that.
yeah, exactly. No, pretty much the last year has been pretty awesome, like eye-opening in terms of Train Like a King and the business. Irene's been a huge contribution to that. And it's pretty cool to have that side, that business side, and see how it works and it functions, because I'm always just been quite the physical person, especially in regards to paddling. I'm the paddler, I'm the one that goes and competes and things like that, and I've done coaching clinics and things like that, but I've never really truly thought about making it into a career, you know, something that can making it into a business. And that's where I think someone like Irene, you need someone like that, like, to deal with that. Without Irene, we wouldn't have made it this far with Train Like a King. So it's been pretty awesome this last year with training, like the amount of training programs we've sold. Merchandise went pretty nuts. Coaching clinics was pretty awesome. We like had, just before the lockdown, we got into a pretty nice routine that was quite consistent for me, being based in Auckland, and just weekly I was getting clinics, like on average like 4 clinics a week. People were even traveling up from Rotorua or wherever just to come and do clinics. So
What, just like
at the
one-on-one,
same
or
time I was,
was there a few
what's that, sorry?
one-on-one clinics, or you have groups coming?
Yeah, one-on-one group clinics. So we were kind of in a really good space. Well, I felt like I was in a pretty good space, training-wise too, because being in Auckland, had really good access to the water, and so it was really really cool. But I think you know, like we're just kind of waiting for this to majority of it to blow over. Um, we're looking to actually, like, if this is going to continue long term with the coronavirus, then do things like this, Zoom meetings and online coaching clinics, which I should have been doing for a while, but obviously we're just all in a kind of a slow-mo mode. But yeah, I think our goal is to continue doing what we're doing, inspiring the younger generation too, Ppp Sharks, and hopefully one day, like, ultimate goal is to help kids or like young good paddlers to aspire to do races overseas and stuff, like just the same way I did. Like, I mean, I remember my first trip to Tahiti, 2013.
Yeah.
And all it took was Kingy Gilbert just asked me, "Oh, you want to come over and do this race?" And we fundraised and whatever. And that was pretty much the eye opener I needed to, like, send me down this track of paddling. So we kind of want to do the same thing eventually.
Yeah, for sure.
Train like a king.
Show them the opportunities over there, and
yeah,
kind of what's it like, over there, next level in Tahiti
exactly.
and Hawaii.
Yeah.
What kind of like advice would you have for someone starting like a new business, especially like I see there's a lot of people starting padding clothing and merchandise. Is there anything you've learned or mistakes that you've made that you've learned from along the way?
Yeah, plenty of things I've learned, you know, like I think, yeah, like coming back to Irene, it's important to have someone that has like an outside look into it, and like somebody that has the special like specializes in that type of stuff. Like some of the ideas I've never would have thought of
Yeah.
in my life, like simple things that like can turn out like so good. So one way, for example, like one way of us actually providing value for people and like converting value into a sale would be like simply getting somebody to fill out our survey, which is one of the things that we do. And then obviously we have, you know, some information from them, and then like actually reading through all of that information and then like responding to them and giving them like some free valuable information that they'll be like, you know, gain their attention. And that causes them to be like, okay, this guy's interested in me, he wants to help me succeed. So they kind of, it's like building that trust, you know. And that's what I think has really been one of the main things for us selling training programs and things like that. Content delivery, like Instagram, Facebook, all that type of stuff, like, is really important. It is different. Like you requires a bit of energy. Like a lot of people are kind of like quite afraid of releasing content. They're like, oh, they don't know if it's good enough or whatever. But like I think like what I've come to know is that like um, just like getting that content out there, quality, quantity, whatever, is gonna something that's gonna build attention, and you can do anything like you'll know too with the amount of like you could be a comedian, you could like release comedic videos or you can do serious videos, training tips, whatever, as long as you're building this like a
network kind of.
providing value and building
Yeah.
building a brand. I think that's one of the most important things.
I think like a good example was your challenge, your weekly challenge, and the amount of attention that got just from different people around the world, and then people just started. You must have got a lot more following and engagement with your Facebook page as well.
Exactly, and you never know what's gonna work out. It's all about just like trial and error. So like you're better off just to do it, and if nobody responds to it, then it's like fine. Like they're probably gonna respond to maybe the next one. It's like if you never try, you never really gonna find out.
You never know. Like all my stupid videos, and then the one that I thought was like kind of average, and then next thing it's got like 20,000 views and shit like that. And the ones I'm like, oh, this one will be good, and then no good. It's like, oh.
Like so I've even like dabbled in that idea. Like when we first created Train Like a King, we try to make the switch from just a normal, like just Instagram's probably my biggest platform, although we do have Facebook. We kind of try to make a switch to a more like business focused content release, like real structured and nicely looking, stuff like that. But it was kind of like too straight edge, especially for me and the way that I work. Like in order for me to produce content, it kind of has to come from myself, and I'm like not a perfectionist or anything, but so it's sometimes I like to produce like just random funny videos, and sometimes it'll be like a serious tip, so like I like that balance. Whereas if it was just like straight cut edge, like words and video and instructions, it's not really consistent with me, and I don't think I struggled more to produce that kind of stuff than I would. And either way, it doesn't really matter, and that's what I've heard, like document rather than create. Is that what I was saying? Yeah, I reckon that was a good one.
And people relate to both, people relate to humor and stuff like that as well, and kind
exactly of like humans relate to humans. So.
So what do you think if you could choose a couple of like key values or attributes that have made you kind of successful in paddling and the stuff that you're doing now, could you think of any that you could tie it down to?
All right. I think like when I think about how it all first kind of came about, the first term that I had was when I was at university, and I was studying and learning how to train, whatever. But I actually kind of got quite big, and I was like 100 and something kilos.
And welcome to the club.
Yeah. And I kind of, in my mind, I was like, man, I need to do something about this. So I like got a gym membership and started training. And I kind of like, to be honest, I kind of like got addicted to training in a way. Like I think I was definitely addicted to training. And it was just by chance that year, like I wasn't paddling that much, but I was like, I'm going to go back and give it another go at nationals. And that was when I won my first 250 meter championship. And then right from then, I don't know, I put my head down, and I was just training day in and day out, like just by myself down in Waikato on the river there. Like my cousin Tudanga will vouch for this. I was just like, whenever I could, in between lectures or whatever, I'll just go down there and I'll just like rack out these miles. And I don't know, there was just something, I don't know, that just gave me the drive to do that. And I just kept on doing it, did every single race that I could. And I was like, just felt myself getting better and better. And then like, it just got to a point where when I started winning nationals and then like the year, I don't know why, but the years felt really short because I was just training right through, doing every single race. Everything was just like passing by. But like, I remember, I think it was 2015, which would have been my third championship win. Far out, like heaps of just things just opened up, like opportunities. Just like I remember going on like 3 TV shows and whatever, getting like my first sponsor by 5 Air Tahiti Nui came on board. So then it just opened up a whole nother aspect where I was flying to Tahiti with 6 return flights a year, and all things like that. So like for me, my biggest advice would be, if you are a young paddler starting out, like just get in and put the like time on the water is just, as you just can't beat it. Like commitment to time on the water or in the gym, whatever. If you focus on that, then everything else kind of just follows. I think like performance, like if you get on the water more than someone else, then inevitably you're going to beat them one day. That's why I'm scared about all these young kids coming up.
There's a good quote by my mate Denzel Washington, and he says, without commitment you'll never start, and without consistency you'll never finish.
Oh yeah, that's it.
The 2 C's, and then you throw cardio in there as well. But that leads me on to kind of the question quite well, actually, around kind of when was your breakthrough year. You're kind of talking about 2015, and kind of like obviously that was the year you're building up. You started paddling a bit more, getting on the water, and kind of what happened. Like, was it you went over to Tahiti, and then kind of things started opening up a little bit from there?
Yeah, so I would probably say my breakthrough year was 2013, and that year was and the only reason was because that was the first year I won the Open Men's 250 meter, and then which led to Kingy asking me to sorry, I've got to plug my laptop in. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, so that national sprints led to Kingy Gilbert asking me to come to the Tahiti Nui, which was March, I think, or May. So it's quite early on in the year. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Trained with them a bit, and we went over with Team Aotearoa and did this race, and we got smoked. We got tuned up, but it was like an amazing experience. 3 days racing. It's longer than the Hawaii Nui, 166 Ks. I had like blisters on blisters, taping up my hands. I got to see all of like the V1 paddling that goes on over there. Met Lewis Loughlin, who's like the king of V1 Tahiti. We used his 6-man canoe, so he just told us all the stories, and what he told us all these mean stories, like what it took to be a champion. He told us these stories about like waking up before anybody would wake up, like 4 a.m. dark, going paddling, and then he would get back and everyone's just going out to go, and then I even heard these stories about like how he would sting himself with bees to like cause him extra inflammation or something that you can like recover better or stuff like that. So 2013 was definitely the big year, because when I got back from Tahiti Nui, the I-Tour wasn't too long after. And since my dad and my sister had already gone in 2009, my dad asked me, oh, do you want to go over and do the TI Tour? And it was like a few weeks after. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Went over, with like not much training, just went over, and then I think I placed 127th
Yeah.
in my first TI tour. And like everyone was like, "Wow, that was mean, like pretty much saying," because I think what happened was, even though I was 127th, they said that around 27 of them were masters and juniors mixed
Oh,
in there. So like in terms of open, you made the top 100, and Charlie's like, "Come back for the Super Aito." So I went back for the Super Aito, and I think I placed 64.
yeah.
And
Nice.
then from then, it was just like a domino effect. Me
Yeah.
trying to beat my previous year. Like I think I went from like 64, then 37, then like 34, then 16th, then 12th, 11th. Then I got a sixth place, and now I'm like hovering at like 10, 11. Need to go back and break that top five.
Just on the day, eh?
Yeah.
The one you did well in, that was the one where it was like 3 different races.
So the first one that I did well at was 2 different leagues. So that was 2015, and that was a 10 kilometer in the morning, and then like a 32 kilometer at 12 a.m. So you only had like 2 hours rest. I remember
Yeah.
being like so busted up from the 10K because you're sprinting.
Yeah.
And then you're like lying there eating like pasta, just like, damn it, I gotta go and do 30K now. But it was surf out for the first 15, and then like flat headwind for the last 15. So I remember on the 32K, I can't remember what I got in the 10K, but I was like 30 something position at least after the surf.
Yeah.
But then on the headwind back up, people were just like breaking, like it was such a tough race. And I climbed from 30 plus all the way up to 9th place by the finish.
Nice.
And I finished 9th, and then overall I was 10th.
Yeah.
I was like super stoked because the top 10 got on the podium. And then wasn't until 2017 when it was another 2 legs in Mataya, which is just all flat. It was too big to go outside the pass and do the normal course, so we all stayed inside the lagoon, which suited me. Same thing, flat water. And that race I actually led a lot of it, which was probably a bad mistake because a lot of people just drafted behind me.
Yeah.
And then I got a 6th and a 5th place, finishing 6th overall, which was my best result to date in the Super Aito.
Nice.
That was a good one.
And you look at these Tahitians, and you probably mentioned it before, how it's just about time on the water. You know, like we could be stronger and fitter on land, but no, especially when I went over there last year. Whew, it's just it's an eye opener. Eh? Keeps you humble, right?
Mm-hmm. It's paddling is like walking to them. It's just, gosh, they just start at such a young age. Then by the time they're, you know, at the end of their juniors or coming into opens, they're just so well developed. Like I always talk about specificity, and like you built like, you know, running or gym is only going to get you so far, you know. So like it's all about building those like capillaries and the ability for your blood to get to those working muscles. And if the earlier you start doing that as an endurance athlete, the better. Like, so I look at guys, I don't like to look at paddlers and like champions and what they're doing now. Like, for example, Kevin now, he doesn't train that hard. Like, he does a little bit of running and not much gym. He'll uh, he'll go out and paddle for like 45 minutes, maybe once or twice a day. But it's like nothing crazy. But then you got to go back in time and look at when they were like 12, 13 years old, and the way that his father trained him. He even admitted that his dad would make him do like 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon. Like, instead of like picking him up from school and taking him home, pick him up from school, chuck him in the water and like, hey, paddle home now. he'll be crying and things. But
Yeah.
like now, you can see that he like thrives off that now. Like it's just embedded in him so much that he can even be a little bit heavier than he probably should be, 107 kilos now, but still inside, deep within that muscle is that training adaptations that
Yeah.
just
Years of
start to
training.
follow. Yeah,
And you see the little fellas over there, eh? Like even like 6 years old, and just in the lagoon, they can just go back
yeah.
and forward and fly the armor, and
Surfing boat wake and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, just years and years of bloody having the
it's
conditions and
yeah,
getting out
it's
there.
another level. Mm.
So bro, outside of paddling, what do you get up to? Do you have any other interests? I know you like a little bit of UFC. I've been watching a few videos on YouTube of like 20-minute clips, which is mean, of like champions and how they've come up. But yeah,
Oh,
what else are you passionate about?
oh man, I'll talk about something that I've been like getting back into over the lockdown. It's quite funny. So when I was younger, I loved skateboarding. Hey, like probably from 12, around the years 12, 14 to 16
Yeah.
years old, I just like loved and breathed skateboarding. I'd be down there as soon as the sun came up. I'd be down at the skate park all the way to nighttime. Come back late, mum like, where you been? Um, but recently, I bought me a skateboard, and I've been getting on the skateboard a bit. And but haven't been within the last couple of weeks. Haven't been getting on it much. But what I have been doing is I've been watching all of the um, street league skateboarding events. Like, wow, those are one of my favorite things to watch. Because Nigel Houston was my favorite skater as a kid. He
Yeah.
came in at like 11 years old, dreads, and skated the
Is he
global.
still number one, eh, or one of the best
Yeah,
street
he's
skaters?
still one of the best. And like majority of these street leagues that we watch, hey, it's so exciting because it gets right down to the end, and then like Nigel just like pulls it off.
Mm.
But it's been that long since I've watched skateboarding because I've been overseas paddling so much that I've got all these like years of like 2017 Street League, 18, 19. I've been watching them all. But now there's this new kid on the block, this Japanese kid.
Oh yeah.
His name's Yuto Horigome.
Yeah.
Man, he's insane. And I've watched them beat Nigel like 3 times.
Because is there one where they just do like they'll do a trick off and you have to do the same trick as them?
That's kind of a game of skate.
Oh yeah.
But in
Yeah.
Street League, it's you have 2 attempts at a 45-second run, like so, just like a set piece of tricks, like going around the course, and then you have 5 attempts at best trick, and
Oh
then
yeah.
your score is your best 4 scores over all of them.
Yeah.
It's exciting, man.
Because I remember that was it Ryan Schickler or something back in the
Yeah,
days when we were
yeah,
growing up. He was a bit of
yeah,
boss, eh?
yeah. He was one of my favorites too. I liked how simple he was. He just loved like jumping big airs, like dropping down massive staircases and stuff.
Yeah.
That was my thing when I was a kid. I did one competition way back in the day in Kaitaia. It was
Oh
a
yeah.
local skateboarding competition at our park
Yeah.
on Christmas Eve or something, and I wound up getting second place because I ollied the 8 stair. First pop.
Hidden talent, eh?
Yeah. Other than that, though, what have we been doing? We've
A
probably
few
been doing
handstands.
everything everyone else has been doing, baking
Yeah.
and
See that handstands getting better,
handstands getting better. I'm like surprising myself. Like
eh?
last night, I held my handstand for. We were doing like 40-second intervals,
Mm.
and we just included it as an exercise in our circuit training, and it's
Yeah.
like 40 seconds on, 20 seconds rest, and I managed to handstand for the whole 40 seconds. I was like, holy
Hey.
moly, getting better.
What's the trick, bro? Is it on the core?
Oh, I would say core, but I don't really think about my core too much. I reckon I like to say palm fingers, like that's where you're holding your balance. Like if
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
falling back, you go your palm, and then if
yeah.
you're falling forward, you go fingers. And I just try and maintain that.
No, that's me.
Yeah.
All right. I just got a few quick fire questions. It's funny because I was looking through my old videos, and there was that one when we're doing in the car in Hawaii, like the carpool karaoke. And we're saying like jokes and shit, trying to not crack up and stuff.
Crack up,
I
man.
was like, oh, that'll be released one day.
Yeah.
So it's probably a hard one to start with, but favorite quote? Do you have a favorite quote?
Favorite quote? Oh, that's a good question. It will probably be Bruce Lee's one about be water, my friend. Like you can pour water into a cup. If you pour water into a cup, it becomes a cup. You pour
Yeah.
water into a jug, it becomes a jug. Like be water, my friend. He says.
Be the water.
Like, so, yeah. Be versatile. Be dynamic. Be everything.
Nice,
Be
nice.
ready for anything. That's one of my favorite quotes.
What's your go-to treats?
Oh, that's an easy one, man. Go-to treats is if they're healthy treats, I kind of go for healthy treats anyway. Would be dark chocolate, roasted almonds or cashews, and frozen mango. Bro, those are my go-to treats.
Treats are supposed to be not healthy, bro.
Yeah, I know. I don't really have that many like non-healthy cravings. Hey, what? Nah, for some reason it's weird.
There you go.
Otherwise, maybe chocolate milk.
Yeah.
Chocolate milk.
Yeah. If you're lost on an island or you're stranded on an island and you could take 3 things with you, what would you take?
3 things. As things, not people. I would take if it's things and not people. I would take a waka, paddle, and a fishing rod.
I just been out. We caught a few snapper.
Oh, nice.
Went out from Papamoa, so had to rush back. The boys are still out there, but I was like, man, I got a bloody interview, so gotta get in.
Oh man, I'm gonna go for a fish after this.
Yeah, that's good, eh? It's good.
Yeah.
Who would play you in a movie?
Ooh, who would play me in a movie? Let's say, man, do they have to be younger than me or older than me?
Nah, it could be any actor.
Oh, okay, Leonardo DiCaprio. He is actually my favorite actor, though.
Yeah,
and I'd love it.
Nah, good choice. Worst job you've ever had?
Worst job I've ever had. Oh. Gosh. Well, I know the hardest job I've ever had.
Yeah, what was that?
Working with you, landscaping.
Yes.
It was either that one or
don't bring those nightmares back.
Yeah. Probably working for Green Fingers in Auckland. That was a pretty tough one because like I was a runner for the truck driver, and you just got to like run into every house and pull out the rubbish sacks and bins out onto the road and load them into the truck.
Yeah.
Some days like somebody was just fill it with dirt, and you just got to like tow them up these North Shore hills, and you know, you run into houses with pit bulls and stuff like that. I remember. Oh,
yeah. Crack up. All right, sweet. Would you rather be rich in
money or rich with knowledge?
Ooh. To be honest, I think I'd like to be rich in knowledge. Like I've just had, like I've been like on this crazy buzz about like trying to learn more about like the universe and cosmology and like stuff like that. I've just been watching like YouTube videos. So like I'd love to like understand shit on a level that like Albert Einstein or something did, you know. I think that would be much more valuable.
Yeah. When I was like, bro, can you send me some good podcasts? And you're like, oh, do you want these auto books for these randomers?
Yeah, bro. Oh, what was one of the ones? Oh yeah, Stephen Hawking. That's one of the recent ones I watched. What was his book called? Forgot the name of it.
Loving it.
Oh, the big answers to the big questions.
Oh yeah.
Simple answers to the big questions.
I've been reading this one, Rich Dad or Poor Dad.
Oh yeah. I think I've seen a bit of an advertisement about that one.
He's actually Hawaiian, actually.
True.
Yeah. All right, moving on. If you could get sponsored by one company, who would it be and why? Apart from your own one.
That's a good question. Gosh. It would definitely be either a really nice clothing brand or a mean nutrition brand.
Well, if you could go clothing brand, what would it be?
I was looking at me like, Adidas.
Hey, Adidas.
Maybe Adidas. I'd say Adidas because even if you've watched the latest series of The Last Dance of Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, sorry, Michael Jordan, and when he first was getting sponsored, he wanted to be sponsored by Adidas and not Nike. He so Adidas for the go. That means that Tyler's got to buy me some Adidas gears.
Or get free stuff.
Yeah.
It's like Tyler's like, they're like, what size are you? Oh yeah, I'm extra large.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
And last question. So you're the coach of a paddling team, right? And you can pick a team, 6 paddlers. Who would those 6 be?
Okay, I definitely have to take some from my own team, pub team. So we'll chuck Conan in there in the steersman.
Nice.
Chuck Sean up at 1 or 2. Maybe chuck the good old Ash Roosendahl up in seat 1 so Sean can sit behind him.
Yeah, nice.
Pacer. Am I in the team? I'm a coaching.
You're coach, but you can go international.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay, and then I'll put Kevin in seat 3.
Yeah.
Big heavy boy there. Steve Tewatata in seat 4. And then so that leaves me one more, nice light seat 5. Nice light seat 5. Devi Tong Sing.
Whoa. That's hammer.
Devi Tong Sing, chuck him in seat 5.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
That'd be all right team, man.
They go right.
But again, if I was to pick only like foreigners, I would go Heva Paye 1.
Who?
Heva Paye normally is with EDT.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, sorry, scratch that. Handling Connection. Was gosh, that's, oh man, sorry, I'm just having a mind blank.
You've been away from them too long, bro.
Yeah, that's so bad. No, actually, hasn't been on a team for a couple of years. Why am I thinking of them?
Ricky Ebb steering.
Oh yeah, I think Rete Ebb steering. I think I'd put Kevin at 3, Steve at 4, maybe Damas at 5.
Or
Then
David steering.
Or Heimana in his prime. Heimana Tavaite. Oh God.
No, all good.
All good.
All right, bro.
All good.
Thanks for the yarn. Say hi to the whānau.
Yep, we'll do.
And yeah, let us know if you come down. But I've been training by myself, bro. So I hate it, man. No one wants to come out. I think Brad's gone up north. Yeah, I haven't hit his, but yeah, I think I'll. Yeah. A couple of boys have grabbed some kayaks from school as well, so they've been out on the kayaks as well, with our soft bait rods and just catching the snapper and stuff like that. So, no, yeah, keen, bro, keen.
Sweet.
All right, brother.
That's good. Sweet.
Catch you later.
Name.
Cheers, bro.